If you're like me and you love art and you enjoy creating things, then most likely you've thought about selling your own work. Word of mouth business is great to a degree, but it can't beat seeing it in person. People also like the luxury of being able to window shop your artwork, either in person, at a brick and mortar store, or somehow online. In-person craft shows or festivals are great as well, but again, lots of people enjoy the comfort of being able to shop artwork, or basically anything these days, from the comfort of their own couch. Whether you're interested in selling your artwork through your own website, or like through a craft website, like I do, then commission work can be something that you may be interested in. This video is also in conjunction with my previous video, how not to approach creators for commission work, and I would like to give you some tips from a different perspective. I would like to add that just because you're passionate about your artwork and want to sell it, doesn't mean that you have to accept people's work on a commission basis. Because believe me, there can be a lot of headaches when having to decipher people's harebrained ideas at times. Payment conditions and policy. It's a good idea to clearly state your commission policy on your website. Or if you sell through Etsy as an example, make sure it's not against Etsy's guidelines. Good to outline your stipulations when it comes to accepting commissions, such as if you'd like them to pay up front, either in full or make a partial payment towards their commission. In my book, the more stipulations you outline, the better. Accepting commission work can be a great way to supplement income for your small business. Your livelihood is important and isn't something that you should feel you have to make sacrifices on just to please someone else. This is probably the best method to go with. But with commission work, it can be hard to predict how much time it will take to complete a project. Add up your labor and overhead costs. That total will be your asking price. Add the profit that you want to earn. Then divide that total by the hours you've worked. That number is the minimum you should charge to pay your expenses, to pay yourself a salary, and to earn a profit. For an example, if materials cost you $50, it takes you 20 hours, and you pay yourself $20 an hour to make it, then your price for the art should be $450. 20 times 20 hours plus $50 cost of materials. Charging a flat rate is a good idea if your material cost mostly stays the same, with very little fluctuation. Newly launched merchandise. Pricing new merchandise at a temporarily low price gains market share more quickly, and most people realize that the prices will fluctuate once the promotion period is through, or until market objectives have been achieved. This is called penetration pricing, and don't ask me how it got its name. But you can also figure similar pricing for limited time merchandise. Let the client know at the time of accepting their commission that you have other deadlines ahead of theirs, but be sure to reassure them that you'll not have a problem achieving the deadline that you've agreed on. Let's say you've accepted a client's commission, but they contact you later and ask you to move up the deadline to a sooner date. That's when you can charge a rush fee. And there will always be people who disagree with this, but most people understand that when work is accomplished quickly, it can come at a cost. Don't sell yourself short. Consider charging rush fee for projects with quick turnarounds. If they're not willing to pay the rush fees, then deliver the item at the agreed upon time. If you need to mail your merchandise, I highly suggest paying the little bit of added expense to have your merchandise shipped, tracked, and insured through the USPS Postal Service. And trust me, this will save your butt in the long run. But beware, by using this service, you will have to talk to an employee at the counter. This is not something that you can do at the self-service kiosk. There are other options. The USPS flat rate shipping boxes are a good option, as long as the item fits within their prescribed box and comes in under the 70-pound weight limit. Shipping items this way is relatively inexpensive and can be submitted to the post office using the self-service kiosk even after the office is closed. The reason I charge more for commissions is simply because of the customization luxury alone. If a client has the harebrained idea that they want an Edwardian hot pink with brown polka dotted satin cape, and for whatever reason doesn't fall through with the purchase, then I'm stuck with a cape on my hands that I could potentially have a difficult time marketing to another client. By charging more, you will target clients who value your high level of service. You will also be forced to increase the value of work you provide to your clients. As a result, you'll improve the client experience, which justifies your higher pricing. By commanding a premium price means you have to deliver more value and better results. It's just like at the gas pump. If you pay premium prices for premium gas, you expect premium quality gas. There are several ways you can choose to be paid for your artwork, and whichever way you choose is up to you. For a large portion of my retail experience, I was the cash office counter. I counted the store's earnings from the previous day and prepped the tills for the next business day. Oh, and let me tell you, that was an especially fun time when it came to having to count the money after huge holiday business. Unfortunately, counterfeit bills are passed in circulation more often than you would think, and can sometimes be accepted by the fistful, especially during hectic busy holidays. For privacy reasons, I am not going to name the business, but it is a large, popular chain store. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not to say that this business accepts counterfeit money on the regular. They don't. And I probably don't need to counsel you on the fraudulence of passing counterfeit bills, because it is felonious. So if you get caught, you'll get a felony. Counterfeit bills will occasionally sift through to the cash office, but unfortunately, several counterfeit bills will occasionally sift through the fingers of either young, inexperienced, rushed, or employees that maybe just don't care. And fake money that can be peddled at any time of the year seems to be utilized the most, at least in my opinion, around some of the most spendy times of the year, when people's wallets are the most wrung out. I'm not necessarily a person who believes everyone is out to rip me off, but if my years of working retail has taught me anything, unfortunately, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of crooked people, of selfish, crooked people out there. So I'd caution you to not blindly trust people. If selling at a craft show or a festival, it's best to accept cash transactions. But if you're dealing with large cash transactions, have a counterfeit money pin available to check bills that look suspicious. And don't be afraid to refuse bills that look suspicious. And counterfeit money pins can be purchased relatively inexpensively through office supply stores. Most people these days have smartphones, so paying with a cash app on a smartphone is a good alternative to cash, especially when dealing with large quantities of cash, or if somebody doesn't have enough cash on their person. Use whatever cash apps you feel comfortable with. I have heard PayPal is a good idea if you make enough money off your artwork to justify their service fees. For some reason, I'm not really a big fan of PayPal, and I don't have very much experience with other cash app sort of apps. So this is probably one of my least favorite ways besides this one. Personal check. Personally, personal checks are my least favorite way of getting paid. And I mean, really, like, who pulls out a checkbook anymore? On a positive note, it does seem people of more mature years still seem to use this method, and it is a valid method to use. And if by using your discretion and you do feel like you want to accept this form of payment, be sure to write down their personal information at the top of the check. Most likely their address will be at the top corner, but make sure you write down their driver's license and or a good phone number that you can quickly or easily get a hold of them by, just in case the check were to either bounce or not clear at the bank later. For me, this is a huge red flag that somebody is possibly interested in trying to rip me off as a small business. There is also the possibility that if you don't get to the bank right away, the person could put a stop payment on the check, which will result in you not getting paid for your artwork. And remember, while personal checks are a valid form of payment, they are basically an IOU. And if they go to the bank and put a stop payment on it, then they owe you nothing, and they have your merchandise. Trust me, it is very frustrating to be paid by a personal check and then go to the bank just to figure out that you will never be paid for your artwork that you deserve to be paid for. Don't be tempted to ship or hand over a commission without a payment. Be sure that you are paid in full for the commission before it ever leaves your hands. And you're still at risk of being ripped off if they've only paid a portion of the payment. But at least if they have paid a portion of the payment but haven't followed through with the rest, at least you have something from them to pay you for your merchandise, other than an empty promise. We've talked about the ugliest part of this, which is getting paid for your artwork. So now let's talk about how to accept commissions. When somebody approaches you for a commission, it is a good idea to keep an open mind. And the last thing that you really want to do is insult them for their creativity or their brainstorming. If they've given you a brief rundown of their idea that they have in mind, ask them more complex questions, but keep in mind to be respectful of their time, especially if there's a possibility that you may turn them down. But be careful when asking more in-depth questions. By you taking them into what I call the consultation phase, that can, in their mind, solidify you agreeing to their commission. If being a people pleaser runs through your veins, then chances are you're a good candidate to work retail customer service. I worked in retail for over 10 years, and for a lot of those years I was in customer service. While working with a particular customer, no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, it just seemed like she didn't want to be pleased. My boss at the time had also witnessed this altercation between her and I. And I'll never forget what my boss said to me as he pulled me aside to counsel me. Even though I was a new employee at the time, he assured me it wasn't due to my lack of training. But he did simply want me to understand that being able to please everyone was something that would make or break the longevity of my retail career, especially when people don't want to be satiated. So if a client is displeased, offer discounts on their next purchase. Offer to exchange, alter, or fix the article for free. Of course, unless this goes against your return policy, which should have already been outlined, and or you can send it in the invoice at the time of their purchase. My best advice is make sure that your ability, the customer service you've provided, and the quality of your work is on point. Therefore, they'll have nothing to complain about, because after all, their loyalty and their return business is what you are wanting. Believe me when I say this, and I know up until now it does not sound like this, but I am a creative, crafty person through and through, and the people pleaser in me wants to say yes to every commission. But there are many reasons why I might decline a commission. Reasons such as if their project doesn't fit within my branch of work, or if I can't get excited about a project, or if I don't think I'll be able to make it at a reasonable price or within their deadline. But chances are I will most likely say no if the budget is too low. If I've done the research to price my materials and predict how much labor it's going to cost me to make, and for the price that they have set, I will probably say no if the budget is too low. But their budget is important and is something that should be respected, which is the reason why I won't argue with them about it. But I also don't have to work within it, because after all, I'm a small business, but at the same time, I am not a charity. Unless, of course, at some time in the future, I decide that I want to donate my work. But it could be that they just don't understand how much time, labor, and how much materials cost. And on that score, it is definitely okay to politely educate them by giving them a breakdown of your pricing. So how do you reject a commission with the hopes that they will think of you as a potential artist in the future? Well, there is a very fine line. A very, very fine line. But I always endeavor to sound as thankful as possible. Anyways, I hope these tips are helpful to you, and I tried covering all the bases that I could think of. So please leave a comment down below if you can think of anything that I have left out, or if you have any questions. Getting paid and how not to be ripped off. Getting paid and how not to be ripped off as a small business.